grandfather's ignorant, handsome grandson. So the only dream that I have is that I want a Harley Davidson motorcycle. And I will fly to Miami, rent a Harley Davidson, right? And ride the Harley Davidson from Miami to New York. Then from New York to California. That's my dream. We all should have dreams. And I tell my students, always have more than one dream. Have a pocket full of dreams. See, if one ain't come true, you got many more. For animation. Like Dr. Brown was saying this morning, look at our folklore. Look at our culture. Look at our history. And from that, within your own minds, within your own creative abilities, come up with something that is unique. Something that is distinctly Caribbean. Something that is distinctly Guyanese. And when you look, in Trinidad you got the Gangan Syrup. You ever heard about Gangan Syrup? Gangan Syrup is the first good witch. Right? And she was to take her people back to Africa. And they had to climb the Kamaka tree. And from the Kamaka tree, she would have fly them back to Africa. Africa. But somebody make mistake and give Gangan Syrup salt with your food. Salt. And because of the salt, Gangan Syrup couldn't fly. So when she jumped off the silk cotton tree, looks, BAM! She died. Whole hide. Old woman with the wrinkled skin. Let the old life walk. Put on your fiery disguise, old woman with the weary eyes. Shed your suicide skin. Ball of fire, raise up high, raise up till you touch the sky. Lamp on somebody's roof. Trips in through the keyhole. Open your whole hide. Now, historically, whole hide was what you call Creole. You had Baku, that was Dutch. And by the way, anybody know where Baku come from? You hear it? All Bakus come from Suriname. Surinese and all Trinidadians feel that Baku come from Guyana. So when a Trinidadian come down to Guyana, he come for 3 weeks before we get the Baku, because the Guyanese got to go over to Suriname to collect the Baku. So you see how much information that I'm sharing with you, that you can take it, develop it, change it, click what you want to come up with authentic creations of your own. Right? So, the whole hide now is Creole in origin. The Baku, Dutch. The Mungeza, European. But when the slaves were emancipated, they purchased villages like Buxton, Ithaca, and I went up to Ithaca telling the stories just a few, 2 weeks ago or so. They purchased the villages. They did not want to work on the sugar estate anymore. So the white planters were lost. And they were looking that they were going to lose a lot of money. So what happened? They, for 2 years, the emancipated slaves were paid a meager sum, 2 years, and that was the apprenticeship period. And the 32 slaves combined and put their money together. They purchased Ithaca. Another 23 purchased Clonbook. And that is how they just, and they left the sugar estate with the clothes on their back. No medical schemes, no insurance, no nothing. So when they got there, they were tired, but they felt good because they were free. The mortality rate is high. That, all you left the sugar estate. It's not the back who killing all you. It's not the moon gazer. It's your own whole hive. So you see, the whole hive was the first of the myths that came about from the Creolese. From the Creole, directly from the Creole. And they got ways and means as to how. You know, you mark them up with chocolate, wouldn't cross. You understand? Rice, they got the stuff count. Right, the honeycomb broom. Those are things that determine. And you as animators, you can use that. You can come up with stories. And I've been looking a lot at the wonderful ones that they make. And I feel that it's been so superb that if we could, you know, having a knowledge of it will help us to explore and to experiment and to get things done. So that is how it is. And that was the Africans. Now, have you ever heard about the Canaima? Or the Torn Tiger? That is strictly Amerindian in origin. And you know, the avatar? Is the avatar that's changing what's not? Which one of them does change, man?
Ben 10.
The Ben 10. Ben 10. Wow! Wow! The turned tiger or the canine changes form, right? Changes identity. It's hard to catch. And it's authentically Amerindian. There are other Amerindians like the Canaima. Well, that's one that's strictly living. Then you've got the Bush Dai Dai, the Massacre Man. Now that came about after, and I'll tell you what, after the First World War, England realized that they needed much more gold reserves. And because they needed the gold reserves, they let people from all over come to Guyana to go into the interior as pork knockers. Because what they realized is that the more gold they had in reserve, it was equipped them for any other future war. So they encouraged people, islanders, St. Lucians, Bajans, to come to Guyana in search of the gold. And that's there you created the pork knocker. No other place you hear the term pork knocker other than Guyana. You hear it? Where? Which gold field? Oh man, you copy that from me. Mrs. Right. So, the Guyanans entail English Guyana, Dutch Guyana, and French Guyana. They had them three Guyanas out there. Oh my God, gold. So they sent. How did the word pork knocker came about? Any other part of the world is referred to as prospectors. But here in Guyana, it's referred to, and in Suriname to some extent, right? Now, in them days, they didn't have fridge. And the meat that they keep the longest under poachable salt was pork. So most of the meat going into the interior was pork. One, because it could stay longer. than any other. Now, the pork knockers that went in weren't hunters. They couldn't trap the wild animals. So they relied solely on the shops that were stationed in the interior. And if they were lucky and they get the gold, they would go and they would buy the pork. First thing after 4, 5, 6 weeks, I want a pound of pork. And that is how they were nicknamed the pork knockers. Specifically in Guyana. I don't know how the name occurred in the other Guyanas, but specifically here and around the world, hardly the word pork knocker. So you have a character that you can develop into something that is great through animation, the pork knocker. You give it what you want. And that's how it goes. So around that time now came like the bush die. And that was spread by the pork knockers themselves. Notice that they get a little strike here. Them nobody else go back to that till they go and set up and come back. So I said, don't go there. Bush die. Or massacre a man. And you know, we grow up being fearful. So any little thing got knocked and say, ah! We get frightened. Right? So that's it. Then, don't forget our East Indian brothers and sisters. Have you ever heard about Balgobin? You never heard about Balgo? Balgobin came with the East Indians from India. Balgobin had common sense. He was a common sense master. And don't matter how smart you're smart, if you don't have common sense, you're stupid. Now there's a difference between stupid and stupid. May I tell you the difference? You can find out for yourself. So Balgobin is, and my good friend Pitamba Prasad wrote on the Balgobin saga. And as animators, you've got to be familiar with the culture that we share. Apart from our own, we've got to be au fait with other cultures. As Africans, you may be aware of Anansi. As Africans, you should be aware of all of the other things that relate to the culture of the other. So Balgobin. You want me to tell you something about Balgobin? And how common sense is what? Balgobin loved school. But Balgobin teacher ain't like Balgobin in school. One day, them get one telegram. Not no Instagram. One telegram saying that the education official from England shall be visiting the school to conduct business. Postmaster himself delivered the telegram. And if you know how telegram goes, stop. 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 As soon as head teacher here, education officer coming, she get nervous. Balgobin teacher get more nervous. They know one Balgobin in school. Head teacher call Balgobin. Balgobin, I don't want you to come to school tomorrow. But teacher, I love school. Balgobin, we could give you $1. Stay home tomorrow. Balgobin collect $1.